It's been going okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm
So,
actually stepping away from like being a Lucio one trick because I'm on a team now, so they're asking me to
ah,
different characters.
nice, nice, nice. Okay. So, what got you interested in the whole team thing besides the obvious fact that it's just
Well,
freaking fun?
my college has an Overwatch team, and I was like, oh, I might as well try out, considering I want to go into like be a pro. So I might as well go ahead and start getting the team aspect down.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Sure.
I got on a team now, so
Sure. Sure. Remind me, what rank are you at right now?
silver 3.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
I'm opening Overwatch. I'll check, but
Okay.
as far as I remember, it's silver 3. So
Right, 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 right. It's surprising that the spectrum of ranks and teams that are out there, right? I remember when I set my personal goal, I wasn't going to join a team until I hit the Masters, but I realized that there was like teams for like every single rank, right?
yeah.
And there's a lot of them take it actually pretty seriously too. So okay, sounds good, sounds good. How's the Lucio been? I mean, obviously you're moving on from the Lucio OTP things, but how's I guess I want actually for you is a lot of your training structure stuff, like the 3 to 4 hours a day or 3 to 4 days, the warm up, hero pool. Have you been able to make any progress with any of that? Also, sensitivity
Well,
too.
yeah. I dropped my sensitivity a little bit a couple times. It's kind of worked out. I mean, it's at 6 and 800 DPI, and that's what's worked. So I've got my sensitivity at a good spot. Training wise, I've been doing a lot more of like, I guess, focusing on one thing to work on each time I train for 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
So like one day it'll be aim, and then one day it'll be like positioning, and then I'll just I'll take one thing at a time and go that route with it.
Sure.
And
Sure.
I've been playing more comp than usual, I guess. I mean, it's just kind of a journey at this point.
Yeah. 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 I got you. Okay. Okay. Well, as long as the practice is going well, that's all that matters. And then you said that
Yep.
you've migrated away from OTP.
Yep.
Um, how has that been going? I see, is it EDRE? I'm looking at your form here.
Uh, Lifeweaver, Alari, Kiri, and a little bit of like Onabap, but
Is this
not
with team
much.
stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I mean it's always tricky because the team's demands are going to be sometimes at odds with what you have to do for your own personal growth. So I
Yeah.
think finding a balance of contribution is important. So, for example, how often do you guys scrimmage, or how often do you guys practice?
We actually had a scrimmage yesterday
Okay,
or 2 days ago.
okay, okay. And what were you playing in the scrum? The stuff that you just mentioned.
Uh, yeah, Lifeweaver. I think I swapped Kiriko at one point, but that was just personal.
Sure.
And then, um, I think I played a little bit of Lucio,
Okay.
and
Mostly
then there
Lifeweaver
was
there.
one point where I swapped with a DPS to like because they wanted me to play DPS for some reason, so I did.
Okay.
But
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. So then, why the EDRE? Is that something that you pull out in scrims occasionally, or is that just more of a ranked choice?
I think it's more of a rank choice.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
just because when she came out, she was really OP, and then
Yeah.
they nerfed her a little bit. I was like, I might as well stick with her a little bit
Sure.
just to remember how she plays.
Sure. Sure. You like playing her, yeah? You
Yeah.
enjoy her? Okay. It makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Sounds good. So I think like what are your priority here characters right now? It sounds like Lifeweaver might be one that you need to put as a priority for
Prob-
team needs.
Probably Lifeweaver, yeah.
Okay, so Lifeweaver, maybe a little bit of EDR is more of like your ranked pick, and then Lucio somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Okay, and then for you, in terms of practice time, 1 to 2 hours today still?
Yeah, about 1-2 hours.
Okay, okay, sounds good, sounds good. Yeah, that hero pool can work. That hero pool can work. It's definitely pushing it a little bit, but obviously I don't think it's too bad. So then, how is your training structure scheduled with warm up? Has been able to make any progress with that?
Uh, not a lot. It's mostly just been kind of like I'll hop into a death match before a comp game or like a custom game before a comp game or something like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Okay. Okay.
For about like 5-10 minutes,
Works for me. Works for
probably.
me. Okay. Sounds good. And then just ranked after that, support ranked
Yeah.
after that. Okay. You are focusing on support, putting your time in that. Okay. Because I think for you, it was like your training structure, schedule, all that stuff was like the biggest return on investment. Okay. And then your Lucio specific stuff, obviously we might not be looking at Lucio today, but playing aggro when your team is engaging, keep an eye on your R usage. Have you been able to make progress on any of those things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually a lot.
Good.
And especially for like Lifeweaver and stuff like that, I kind of factored that into Lifeweaver too.
Smart.
Just kind of like generally.
Good. Okay, smart. Because the thing is like between our session and now, it's only been about 6 weeks, 5 weeks. We're not expecting a big return on investment, but we do want a little bit of progress. And if we're not having that progress, then we got to kind of look at how you're practicing. So, well, good. I'm glad to hear that you've made some progress with that. Okay. Let me look through any other things in your form here. What do you feel is holding back from improving mostly mechanics, but also mentality? Okay, so talk to me a little bit about the mentality stuff.
I think it's just like if we lose the first team fight on a push or something, I just kind of default to, well, we lost the first fight. Can we make this back instead of what can we do to make this back?
Sure.
It's more of like a sadder mentality than what I want to have. I want to have that mentality of we can make this back. We just have to focus on doing it instead of we just lost the first fight. It might go bad the next time.
Sure. I'm going to be a little bit pessimistic with my view on that. I don't care if you think that you can bring it back or not, to be honest with you. I think that there's an interesting way to weaponize that thought process to where, like, let's say you're down 115 meters to 0-1 push and you have 0 ultimates and you're coming up in the last fight. I don't care. I go into that even in the team environment, right? And this sounds like heresy, but even in a team environment, I don't really care if it's winnable. I just want to know if I'm going to do my job well.
Right.
Because if you're down one in a team fight, like you lose first fight and push, like you were saying, don't be like, oh, I don't know if we can turn it around. I know we're at a disadvantage. Because you're right, yeah. But don't worry about it. Who cares? If you lose every single game, but you're like, I did my job, I want to, like, then you're good. Then you're good. Because to me, it's like you have to be a little bit detached from the result to be able to practice effectively, I think. Because what ends up happening is getting attached to the result can be more of a distraction. So if you're getting like, I get a little bit down when we like lose that first fight, that's not a problem because you're going to lose games because of your mentality. It's a problem because you're going to lose practice value because of your mentality. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it really doesn't matter if you win or even in a scrimmage. And the funny thing is if you find yourself being more detached and less like not super upset if your team starts to lose a bunch of maps in a scrimmage, then ironically, you're going to perform better. You're going to perform better because you're going to show up almost not literally like a robot because nobody's that emotionless, but almost very robotical, like, okay, I don't care, go into it. And you know what? That's not only the best mentality to practice, that's also the best mentality to clutch. Like if you go into these 115 meter to 0 fights and you're not like bothered at all, it's just like, just practice, whatever. That's actually a perfect mentality to potentially clutch that fight. Whereas if you go into that fight and you're like, oh shoot, we got to clutch it out. Or if you go into that fight and you're like, oh man, we've lost, this sucks, then that's not a good mentality to clutch that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I think both for like a competitive integrity and also for practice integrity, it's good to try to be a little bit detached from the result. Focus on what you need to do. Do your job perfectly and let the rest happen. Sleep is still looking a little bit on the lower end. That's just my job. I have like, how are you doing? Let's look at your gameplay. How is your sleep? Those are like the check marks. So 7 hours isn't bad. 7 hours is okay. But 7.5 is better, And until you have 14, 15, 17, 22, 23 hours of sleep, I'm just gonna, okay. I don't really have anything else from your form. Do you have any questions since our last session?
Not really, other than focusing more on myself.
Yes.
It's a big one. Okay.
Oh yeah. Even in a team environment.
Okay.
I think focusing on yourself, but thinking about what's called. So for example, if your tank, were you guys like calling ultimates and plans and stuff like that? Yeah. So then you're thinking, okay, what do I need to do to make that plan work?
Right.
Even as a Lifeweaver, it feels like you're kind of like more reactive, like you're pulling out mistakes. But then if you guys are calling, hey, let's push in with this ultimate, you might be thinking, okay, who do I need to keep an eye on to pull just in case things go south? Or who do I need to be prioritizing my healing on? So you're thinking about your job to supplement the plan even then. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, let's do you look at some gameplay?
Sure, why not? Yeah.
Let's do it. I don't have anything else from the forum, so unless you have any other questions, we can just we can roll.
Do you care about maps that much?
No. As long as you've got questions about it and it's a character you want coaching on, that's good enough for me.
Okay. Let me check this code real fast, see if it's the right one.
Works for me.
Okay. Here is the code.
Got it. This is from the scrim yesterday?
Yeah.
Right. Is this all Lifeweaver?
I think so, yeah.
Let's skim through really fast. I enjoy coaching Lifeweaver personally. I think I kind of enjoy playing him too. He's weird. Like I think that I had very very boring to play him early on, but he's got since his buffs, it feels like there's a little bit more flexibility with what you can do. I still think he needs some work, but he's not too shabby, you know. So okay, so I guess kind of you talked about how you're applying some of your Lucio things, some of your fundamentals to Lifeweaver. What are some things that you've been working on with Lifeweaver?
Like more on the positioning side, because I noticed that I'm a little bit more aggressive than I probably should be.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably some more. I don't use pedals as much, so I think I worked a little bit more on pedal usage than normal.
It's a weird cooldown.
Yeah,
it's hard to use. Okay.
Just kind of like figuring out when to use it to save myself, and then also to help my team and keep them alive without endangering myself at the same time.
Yeah, let me actually pull up Microsoft Paint here. So I'm going to shut down the stream and start it up again. It might be kind of tricky, so just click on my face if you can't find the stream at the top of the Discord window. Let me know when you're in.
Yeah. I'm in.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so one of the things about Lifeweaver is I kind of like look at it as like you're like the Grand Master, evil Emperor, Palpatine, intergalactic Emperor, basically, where you're kind of sitting in the back and you need to have like you basically have like all these like spider webs attached to different teammates. And the reason why that's important is because not only is your healing like pretty solid at range, right? But also these are all the things to pull, right? These are all your strings to pull. If this person over here gets into trouble, then you can pull them out. If this person gets in trouble, you pull them out. This person, whatever. And just basically what's needed, you're able to do. Now, the tricky thing with Lifeweaver, though, is then obviously you have to decide if self-preservation or more offensive pressure or enabler is value. So for you, it's like, hey, do I need to be pedaling myself and preserving my life? Do I want to pedal somebody else? For example, if I'm looking at like a Reinhardt or a Cassidy, or if I'm playing versus a Tracer that's trying to dive me, that might change how I pedal. And the other thing too is you got to know which one of these blue strings is under the most threat. Therefore, I need to be ready to pull them, or I need to be ready to heal them. And so when we talk about position getting a little bit too close, the reason why that's bad with the Lifeweaver is not just because, oh, you might die more. But if this line here gets in trouble, but instead of back here, you're right here, what value is Lifeweaver going to have?
Not that much.
Right, because you're going to pull them a whopping 5-10 meters. You need to get a big yank, right? You need to get them a big distance from the point of risk. And the other thing about Lifeweaver, and this was one of the big crucial buffs that he got, is that offensive pressure is important at times with him. Not always, but it is important. So one of the nice things about Lifeweaver is, are you familiar with like his spread of his weapon?
Yeah, it widens the longer you shoot, right?
Right, but it's like a laser for the first several shots. Like I'm talking about literally you could snipe Widowmakers across the map. Like that's one of the things I would try to do when I'm outside their fall off range. And so what that means is that your heal distance, life rip, more value distance. And honestly, even your mouse one benefits a lot from range. So you're not always going to be playing like a sniper. I'm not going to try to peek a Widowmaker all the time. Yeah. But there's very few downsides about playing distance with Lifeweaver with your mouse one, your healing, and your pull. So you kind of want to think like that. Pull the string that needs it, heal who needs it, pressure who needs it.
Think more like an Ana.
A little bit, yes. But the difference with Ana is Ana does occasionally want to get up close to nades and brawl for nades. I think sometimes you see that with Lifeweaver too. But yes, very similar with Ana. Okay, so let's So what I want to do is, given that context, let's see how you position. Because I look at their composition immediately, and I'm like, okay, well, you definitely have a Widowmaker, which is kind of awkward, right? She's gonna be kind of difficult. But if I see Moira, Kiriko, Tracer, Ball, there are a lot of targets that could be Dove. So I need to be able to pull them if they get in trouble. But also, I need to be worried about my own life at the same time, and so we're gonna have to wait and see. Good damage. Now, this is where you can kind of see some of the issues.
Yeah.
You see what's wrong with your positioning. I understand why you're doing this. You're like, oh, let's go kill this ball, right? But where's your spider web? Where do you want your spider webs connected right now?
Probably back towards that narrow spot, towards that truck.
Right. Towards
So that if we push the
Reaper
ball,
Diva.
I can still turn around and heal.
Exactly, because if you're here, you have a connection to Reaper Diva. You also have a connection to Soldier Mercy as long as they're over here. Now, if they push around, okay, yeah, you've lost your connection, but at least you know the soldier's going to get healing, right? These guys are unsupported right now. And so I understand that you're like, oh, I'm going to put some offensive pressure on Ball. And to be honest with you, maybe it was just an early scrim, but you guys need to be able to communicate and coordinate this one better than this. This is kind of sloppy. But you could do your job by making sure that you're keeping your webs active. Because right now, the offensive pressure is like fine, but you've lost your web to your Diva. You lost your web to your Reaper, and so now he gets punished for it. You see that? Now this is pretty funny. I don't know if you caught this. Check this out.
Oh no. Oh
yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, good shots on the Tracer. You could also use your I was gonna say you could use your pedal there, yeah. Just to get yourself a little verticality. It's not a consistent save your life, but it's like really good versus some characters and really bad versus others. I look at Ball, I look at Tracer. It's really good versus those guys, you know. Now, don't quote me on this. A little bit of a micro detail, but I from what I know, it's not optimal to fully charge your heal when you're trying to heal somebody.
Yeah, just like halfway, right?
Yeah, like 2/3. I think. Don't quote me on the math. I would probably do your own research. So maybe somebody in the comments will let me know. But from what I know, it's like 50-60 range. So you're doing a fine job with that.
Okay.
That does mean that you can, like right now, for example, nobody needs healing, so you just kind of fully charge it while you wait to 75. But it means that you're not always going to be fully charged. Now, part of being a intergalactic emperor is not losing track, right?
Right.
If you've seen Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, you've seen those?
Yeah.
Okay. The whole point of why the Emperor fails in Star Wars and why Sauron fails is that they get too much crap happens at once, and so they have a blind spot, right? Whether it's Endor or the freaking Mount Doom or whatever. This analogy is awful, but I don't care. And you can kind of see that here, right, where your attention is shifted very much to which side of the web.
Left side.
Right, but you can kind of see where your attention needed to be. I mean, come on, she died like in slow motion. And so this is where the ADHD kicks into play, where you have to be able to keep track of as many of your pieces that you possibly can at any given point in time. Right. Because I'm telling you, a heal here, life grip, whatever, saves this Mercy. I'm telling you, a life grip, whatever heal on Reaper, remember first fight? That would have saved your Reaper.
Yeah.
And that's what's costing you right now. Is it's not because you didn't heal your Mercy because you just don't want to heal Mercy. You just didn't know. You just didn't know. And that's the problem. Now, good positioning helps with that. Like, for example, right here, it's very easy to keep track of everybody because you positioned yourself on high ground, you've got a good vision. Now, maybe your Reaper might feed, but this is good positioning. So for me, this is what good positioning for Lifeweaver is. The ability to control your minions easier while also preserving your own life. This is good.
And of course, I attempt to heal Reaper.
No, yeah, and you have to drop to see him. That's fine. I probably wouldn't pull her because of her HP.
Even Karma told me, he was like, "That was fine, but don't do that again." I was like,
yeah. If he's got his boosters, he's good to go. You know what I'm saying? Like he's all right. He's all right. You got some wiggle room because it's not about it's not just I annoyed him, I shouldn't have done that. But it's not a free cooldown, That's a long cooldown that's used there. Like, what if your Reaper needed it? What if your Soldier needed it? So here's what I would do. This is where it's like the minion thing gets difficult because you're like, I want to get off the freaking floor. This sucks. I'm getting sniped. Is there a position where you could control your webs without having to peek Widowmaker?
Probably near either Reaper or Mercy-ish area.
Hear this one out. Ready for this? Throw your pedal here and chuck over here. You see this like high ground position that you have now?
Yeah.
And yet you still have the little tendrils out there, right? I think that's something because you want to get off the floor, but you're also like, well, there's nowhere can I go where Widow can't see me, you know?
Yeah.
Because you could see now you're getting too close to the heated battle. If Reaper's in trouble, Mercy's in trouble, Soldier's in trouble, you're not going to be able to pull them to a different angle or a different position. You're in the middle of it, right? You don't want to be in the middle of it with Lifeweaver.
Okay.
Same kind of thing there. I think she's too high in HP to deserve a pull.
Yeah.
And again, here, this is another situation where could you go now?
Probably up the stairs.
You could peek here, right? You could also go. Was it this stairs here you're talking about?
Those two, yeah. I was trying to get a different angle, but
yeah. Either one though. Do you see how like both have some form of cover and create a little bit of distance? I think I like this one a little bit better so that I don't have to. I have like a longer pull. But I think either this, you could go here and then pedal up. Maybe that's too scary with the Widow. But yeah, you need to create some distance here.
Right.
Because it's very difficult. I don't want you to have to turn your camera so much, right? If you're here, you don't your entire vision is like right here. It's perfect. But if you're here, it's like I mean, that's how you lost the Mercy earlier, right? Because you couldn't see her because she was behind you. Again, here, don't hesitate to use that pedal. It's fine. Go with them, you know, because sometimes you have to decide, right? Like I'm gonna have to leave these guys, right? Yeah. But this is really freaking important, yeah. Right? This guy's low, so sometimes you're gonna have to pick and choose. We don't want to, but sometimes we're gonna have to, and I think this is
just forced because the enemy team forces it.
Right? Exactly. And unironically, when she doesn't have recall, you're okay. Yeah, I was gonna say like you're not. Your damage isn't too bad. And you've got that lunge, and you've got 225 HP, so yeah, you're good. All right. Now, how do you use tree? I think a lot of people get this one wrong.
Probably like on point if they're all low and I can't heal them all at the same time.
Sure. The way I like to use tree is there's like, I don't know how to describe this. There's like two type of support ultimates, I would say. Maybe a little bit simplified, but okay. One is the counter ultimate, right? They use this. I'm going to counter it with that, right?
Yeah.
The second, Transcendence, Lucio beat, the routine. The second one is it doesn't do enough healing to counter anything, but it will give me an offensive advantage. Coalescence, right? Might counter a Dragon Blade. It also might not. But it does a lot of damage. It does a lot of healing. And so just using it mid-fight is good. Same thing with Kiriko Ultimate. Rally, right? Rally gives a little bit of survivability, but it's not like Lucio Sound Barrier Transcendence. It's more like continual offensive value and defensive value. Tree falls somewhere in between, I learned, where it's definitely because of that overhealth, it could be very useful to just use it, and just win a fight, not counter anything. But because it does give that burst of health, that burst of overhealth, it can kind of counter a couple of ultimates. For example, if I plant tree and Kiriko ult, that's pretty good. Counter Cole, pretty good. Plant my tree in the middle of mines, pretty good. Visor, inconsistent, but there's possibilities there, right? So what I would like you to do is use your judgment, but don't overthink it too much.
Okay.
Don't overthink it too much. I think it's very flexible how you use it. So let's see what you do. Good news is that Poo Poo Man is dead on the enemy team. So that is could not be better news, honestly. These names are just delightful.
I know. We looked at like, wait, what are these?
Like right now, they're committing. They're committing and they're committing in ultimate. So, dude, plan it.
Just plant the
right,
tree right in
planet
front of me.
right freaking here, right? And just fight around it. Because the thing about tree too is it's because you get that like healing pulse and overhealth. It kind of like allows you to kind of relax and do your job, you know. So you can plan it on yourself, be like, yeah, screw off, I'm not dead, my Reaper's not going to die, and so now I could just ignore you guys and just focus on doing my thing because it's really hard to kill you. See, I appreciate you're like looking, do I need to pull her? Do I need to pull her? You know.
Yeah.
But I think this would just be so much more relaxing if you're just like, I'm good. Fine-ish. She was at least half HP there.
Yeah.
Diva's just one of those that,
but
yeah, Diva's just one of those tanks that like she has so much mobility. I mean, I respect it just too late, you know? It's like,
yeah, I noticed that too. I was like, man.
It's just not trance, you know? It's just not sound barrier. It's just not going to do that consistently enough, especially with the tank, you know? So it's not a bad ult because you guys are you notice that you're continuing to get value out of it right now.
Yeah.
So by that metric, it's fine. And notice also that it's allowing you to damage. You don't even need to heal anymore. So we love that, you know? But yeah. I mean, it's good ult, right? It does the job. It just didn't do the job that you wanted it to do. And so therefore, I think it was a mistake. So yeah. Okay. Any questions so far?
Not really, no.
So I'm
all the questions.
Okay, good. So we want to see a little bit more intergalactic emperor by keeping track of multiple people, and then positioning yourself so that you can keep a little bit of distance and pull the web, see everybody at all times. You know, pedal to high ground, pedal to an angle, pedal to sightline. You kind of want to kind of keep things at a distance. You're getting too close in the middle of things. A little bit of the light grip stuff, like kind of making sure that target, the tank has the HP demands for it, right? They're critical or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the ult, just freaking use it, you know?
Yeah.
So a lot of little details. Obviously, we'll get more gameplay and we'll sharpen things up as we go.
Is it really just like using my ult a little bit earlier than I am, or is it like just use it basically whenever?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? I think it's a little bit of both. I think your decision on the diva was flawed because you're thinking, oh, my tank is super low. I'm going to use a tree to save her life, and I just don't know that that's something that you can consistently do with this character.
Okay.
I think there were opportunities much earlier to use it to confirm the fight win. And it ended up working out well because the fight continued to go, but good try, just wrong target.
Yeah.
I think even the diva deserved the pull there. I mean, look how critical she was, right? So you're like, oh crap, you know? Yeah, I think she deserves a pull, right? Just pulled the wrong target. So I'll live with that. Now, this feels awful for you, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't necessarily know that there's an answer to this in terms of positioning. I think I could tweak your positioning to be maybe a little bit further back, like here.
But then
or maybe
then they turn at me and then follow.
Right. So then maybe over here. I don't know. But I guess instead of like critiquing your positioning here, because I don't know that there's a great option, we can instead ask, why does this feel so bad?
Yeah.
Remember our intergalactic emperor thing. Do you have any sort of distance? Look at your webs, right?
Not really, no. Yeah.
Right? So this is a good reminder. Whenever you get the chance to create distance, this is why it's important. Because right now you don't really have a great option. And it feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. You know? So I'm not blaming you for this, but it's a good reminder that whenever you can create distance, this is why it's important. I will say there is one ability that allows you to create a little bit of distance. It's pedal. Check it.
It's just vertical distance.
It's vertical distance, but it's still distance because it's also the high ground visibility. Now, I look at their comp and I'm a little scared of Bastion, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I see this here. I think I'm pedaling myself right now. And I go, wait, what's the button here? There you go. So I go here, right? And you see now, look at my LOS, right? You see how much easier it is for me to connect my webs to everybody? Yeah. And I'm not accessible. And I have cover through the pedal itself. Something to keep in mind. Maybe in positions where you don't get a lot of sight lines, the pedal is your high ground. The pedal is your position.
Okay.
Little detail. Good. A little bit problematic right now, so you're gonna have to make a really important decision. What webs do you want connected right now? Because you can't connect to everything right now. It's impossible. It's a disaster. Yep. So what's important right now? Mercy Soldier? Is it Reaper? Can you help Reaper? Is it Diva? What do you think?
At the position I'm at right now, I'm literally just kind of glued to Diva because I can't really help Reaper here. And soldiers getting healed.
Yeah, I think where you're at is probably okay. Yeah. I think this is the only web that you can keep tied on right now. So do it well, you know. But you see the problem, right?
Yeah.
You get antsy because you're like, oh, I can't only see my diva, but you know what? That's just how it has to be right now. So you going here to try to help your Mercy soldier should get you killed.
Yeah.
It's too close. It's too close. Now, luckily, they're very focused on tank because that's all these guys seem to want to do. But then now you're dead. Now, let me ask you a question here. How could you have preserved your own life and created more distance for your webs? What cooldown?
Pedal.
Pedal, right. Pedal right here. Is that going to save your life permanently? No.
Probably not. No.
But it's going to buy you a lot of time. It's going to buy you a lot of time. And that may be all your team needs. I mean, look at the Symmetra's HP. I mean, come on. She's 1. She's 1 HP.
Right.
All right. Now, Lifeweaver is actually pretty good versus this composition because it's hard for them to access you. You know, if you can create your distance, right? And anybody they rush down on with that TP or with that speed boost, you can pull. So let's see what we do. Ramatra. I like Ramatra with Lifeweaver. A little bit slower than Diva, so he likes that pull. It's just a feed, you know, whatever. Go next.
Yeah.
It happens. I wouldn't worry as much about it. I appreciate that you were looking for a little bit of damage, just got a little bit too far from cover.
This is the point that I hated that. I just hated that symbol so much.
Right. Can you heal through Simwall? I think you can.
I don't think so. I think I tried and it just didn't go through.
I think you just did. Let me see here. So 403. I can't quite tell. I think you just did there.
Wait, I did. Oh, I did.
Wait, did you? It looks like it goes through. Let me watch here. I want to see this from his perspective. So here it comes right here. And then Vile is at 160. So if he receives any health, we know it's from you. I think he did.
Yep, I did.
I think he did. Just a little bit, right? So, I mean, that's busted. That's actually, because like there's not a single support.
Broken.
Right. Yeah. Only Mercy, I think, can heal through a wall like that. Maybe is Zen orb. Don't correct. Don't.
I think Zen can because it's like directed. It's not like a projectile.
So either way, broken, right? But remember, the problem here is this is like the Emperor stuff. Like Emperor Palpatine has like pulled up his put on his boxing shorts and just run down into the Battle of Endor. It's terrible, right? Yeah. Like he's getting his old wrinkled skin beat in, right? So where do you need to be here?
Probably where Vile is, but
yeah, I agree. Probably here, and certainly pedaled. Yeah. Certainly pedaled up to here. You have to create your distance, like you're like evil laughter raised on a pedestal, like zapping lightning and throwing heal beams everywhere. Like this is where you need to be, not where you're at right now. It's like, it just feels so much worse being here. And so you do it. That's great, but it's just a tad too late.
And I even pedaled the Rhine up too.
Right, and that's the problem. When it's too late, it's really too late with this character.
Yeah,
you know. Prevention's worth a pound of cure.
Maybe just called to go under because they're just pressuring us.
Now, I'm going to be honest. Let it rip. You know?
Yeah.
Fight starting. This is it. Drop it right now.
Could I theoretically just drop it right in front of Reaper?
Yes.
Block off Ryan and then we kill Ryan? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, use it right now. Because you know they're going to use ultimates. You know this fight matters. Give your team a massive advantage right now. Now, their Bastion might pop turret form and break your tree, but if Bastion uses his entire turret form to break your tree along with this team's help, you'll take it.
Yeah.
You'll take it. Because he's wasting all of that attention and all of that focus on a tree, and your team is still getting value out of it while he's focusing it. So I'm scared here that you're just going to wait and wait and wait for them to pop an ultimate. And you, I mean, come on. I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh. Like this fight you guys very easily could have lost this fight.
Yeah.
A little close here. Where should you be?
probably back down the stairs
Sure.
and then pedal it, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe same thing here, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I think either of those positions is just fine, right? Create some distance. And remember, if you want to contribute damage, being further away, as we already talked about, is not a problem.
Okay.
It's not a problem. Your spread is very, very, very good. So, I'm scared of beat. I'm scared of Bastion. I'm scared of Rhine swings. I'm scared of everything here. Just be very careful.
Right. And I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you're just a little too far out in the open. Just a little too far out in the open. That's all. And I do think even pedal there could have helped you. It's weird to think of it like that because it's hit scan. But remember,
Yeah, but then he has to look. He's looking up with a projectile weapon.
And if you crouch on the pedal, right, and I don't know if he can hit you because you can go to the edge of the pedal here. I mean, here, let me show you what I'm talking about because this is like it's definitely not consistent, but there are some circumstances where even versus hit scan, it can work, right? So where you go like where are we at? So like, oh, that guy's over there, he can try to shoot me. So I do like this, and I can crouch. And if he's on the floor down there, like where the Sojourn was, you can kind of LOS them. You see that?
Yeah.
It's like you use the floor to cut off their ability to see you. It's weird, but it can work. So anyway, biggest thing though is just cover. Cover was the most important thing.
Yeah. I have a weird question.
Sure.
Pelican fan and their team is like diamond average because our team lead got a scrim and it was a little bit higher than us. Like we're like plat-ish average.
Yeah.
And they're all like diamond.
Yeah.
So I'm confused on how I was like 1v1ing Pelican and almost winning.
It could be that maybe he wasn't their diamond player. It could be that he's not comfortable on that character. Team play starts to matter a lot more in scrims. Because ranked is a little bit of like just a crapshoot, Generally, a silver team is going to lose to a gold team and ranked. That's just how it works. But if you incorporate scrims and people are calming and coordinating, it's pretty common for teams to punch up or punch down, right? Like I've known teams that were like diamond to masters to compete with like mid grandmaster teams, which is crazy. Like there's a massive mechanical skill gap there, but the coordination is like so big. So it's not unheard of. It's not unheard of. Now in terms of winning a 1v1, I have no idea. Maybe you just hit your shots. Maybe he messed up. Who knows? Yeah. Because RNG happens, right? Like a diamond Widowmaker will beat a grandmaster Widowmaker in a duel 2 out of 10 times, right? It's just stuff happens. Okay, good. I would be shooting Bastion here. Yeah, the tree's gone. But yeah, I mean, it's just at this point, it's just too late. Okay. Any questions so far?
Not really. Just small mistakes that lead into big ones.
But we're seeing what did we see more of now that we had another round under our belt?
More like pedaling.
Yes.
Less accidental pulling.
Yes.
A little bit more ult usage.
Yes. So still a little slow in pulling the trigger with ult.
Yeah.
Keeping yourself like at a distance and pedaling yourself as necessary. Definitely mixing. And
I really think that ult usage. I think it was like when I first started like doing like actual team play in esports. I think I was told that you're supposed to save your support ult more than like DPS are, and going from DPS to support, it kind of threw me off.
Yeah.
So I think I save it a lot more than I should.
I think so too. And it's also tricky because you're coming from a Lucio situation where Lucio you could definitely engage with sound barrier. It's fine to just use it, but there is a little bit more of an emphasis on trying to use to counter something. Not as much with Lifeweaver. Not as much. You can use it to counter things, but just not as much. Okay. Positioning has been a big one. Pedal usage and the positioning, I guess, kind of going hand in hand. And then the ults so far, kind of more emphasized. Oh, they're being cheeky.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Nice.
I noticed. I was like, oh no, please, not now.
Remember INTERGALACTIC, right? So, yeah. so you're like, crap. I got to get away from these guys. I got to create my distance. To me, do not go back. Do not go back. Keep going. Keep going. Either rotate to here to connect your web here and Soldier and Mercy, or rotate away and connect your web to the Ramatra because you think that I can help this guy the most, right? Remember, it's like, who do I want to enable here? Who do I want to assist? while keeping myself alive. This is like, you're going to do good damage here, but I am so scared.
Right.
And the other thing too is it's also like you're not enabling anybody here, so it's like it's fine. You made a play, good job, but just be careful.
Yep.
Because you really
And this
only
is where I should have just left.
right. It's just a proximity thing. It's tricky because you can do a lot of damage up close, but you got to be careful, especially versus like a Junkrat, Roadhog. It kind of make your lives. Now, what do you think about your positioning here? I like it, except for one thing.
Probably get more high grip pedal. Probably.
Yes, pedal just so that more intergalactic. I'll just throw a new adjective, okay? But yeah, I mean, this would be great if you were up higher because you could see your threats. Obviously, you wouldn't be out in the middle for if that Baptiste starts to shoot you, you might need to drop. But you could easily pull, you could easily heal, you could easily damage. You could also pull your soldier if he gets in trouble over here. It'd be great. You've got a little bit of distance going on here. I love it. Feels so much better. And then obviously here, pedal. Right. She wastes her time shooting on you. Now you can go back. And the funny thing is about that is you sometimes as like a Lifeweaver, you want people to dive you if it's just like one person. Because then you're like, all right, well now I'm going to completely waste your time and live. And then now my team is under less pressure, right? So, okay. Because I don't really have a problem with you shooting her. It's just like pedal first, and that allows you to kind of relax. And then now do you see while you've been screwing around with a tracer instead of just pedaling, your team lost the frontline trade when you could have pulled them, healed them, and so on. So,
right.
Oh, the dopamine.
Yeah.
So many tickies, you know? Yeah. I don't blame you. It feels amazing. And it can be very effective sometimes, too. Okay, let's keep going. Definitely one of those characters where we're going to find yourself doing a little bit more healing. So I don't say that about many supports. You know, and again, if you think about this intergalactically, where should you go?
Probably left, but
yeah, I just feel like just sit here.
I feel like if that happened anyways, I think I'd still get caught by soldier.
Could be, but at least you have better cover here. Yeah, you know, you don't have better cover here. To me, this is just better. Ignoring like your death here, I don't really care about your death that much. But you have better connection to potentially your soldier, to your mercy, to your mantra, to your reaper, and you can still put offensive pressure. You know, that's kind of like what we want to see. Whereas here is not bad because you still have like a couple of webs, but it's not quite as good. Sightlines aren't quite as good. The cover's not quite as good, and so on. Nice.
Yep.
That's the 1v1 you were talking about, right?
Yeah. That's the one we want to kind of want every time. Is
yeah.
I'll just go for it.
Yeah. Finish him off. Now, this is tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Again, you're gonna have to choose, right? Like you're gonna have to choose. So what do you choose?
Back on it, I should probably go for Ramatra. I don't know that I did.
Ramatra, Reaper, you could connect with these two and put out offensive pressure down this choke right here. Right. And then if people need help, peek through here. But the problem is you're prioritizing your soldier who already has a pocket and then not prioritizing your Ramatra Reaper and also missing out on damage opportunities yourself.
Yeah.
And then now, like, okay, and then now your Ramatra's critical. And then now because you got sucked forward, now look at your intergalactic level, right? Now you're sucked forward, right? So if somebody gets in trouble, if they Kiriko ult, if they BAP window, you're in the open. You're not gonna be able to pull anybody to safety. Right. Honestly, sure. Push into it now, you know? Use it. Go in there and use it. Yeah, sure. If your tank isn't going to use that much of it, but at least you use it before he was critical, and then everybody else got around it. Yeah, sure. I mean, I can live with that one. That's probably the best ultimate that you had in terms of the idea. The result was irrelevant, pretty much, but the idea was there. You know, just use it.
I think I'm just scared of like if I pop that right there, and it's like it's connected to that like drum. And then Ramatra can't go forward.
It's
I'm
stuck.
like, oh, well, crap.
I mean, that's always a danger, right? It's always the quality of life crap. You know, it's a double-edged sword for sure. But yeah, I mean, seems reasonable. Okay, so we have a few more minutes if you want to look over maybe one or two more fights.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah.
You have another code?
Oh, I think so. Let me see.
Sure.
Go grab another one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I will share this code real fast. this is something I kind of wanted to ask you about, especially is
Yeah.
Flashpoint. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know how to play Flashpoint.
Flashpoint is rough. Flashpoint is rough. I would worry less about playing Flashpoint and more and more about just playing as a team unit as best as you possibly can. I think people
Okay.
overthink Flashpoint a little bit. It's just fight or go to point, or fight or go to point. That's pretty much it. The only tricky thing about Flashpoint is like those 80% where you're like, do we touch or do we just go to the next point? So that's pretty much the only tricky thing. Okay, so we're looking at some Mei.
Yep.
Do you have any specific questions with Mei?
Not really, other than kind of when to pop Ice Block,
Sure.
because I think I pop it a little bit late every time.
Sure.
And also dealing with Doom is just kind of painful.
Yeah, sure. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to overanalyze this. It's not Lifeweaver, it's not Lucio, it's Mei, so we're just going to kind of chill with it. I kind of like this angle here. This is all right. The only thing I would say here is that, obviously, don't be scared to push forward as necessary to the next cover. Because you kind of want to be popping icicles here. And remember, what makes Mei unique is that obviously there's team utility through wall, but also you're super tanky, right? You got 58 extra HP, you have essentially a full heal, and honestly, wall can even be used for yourself as well. So leverage that, right? Like leverage that, like abuse the fact that you're super tanky and fight like it, right? You could snipe people all day long, but abuse the fact that you have your own self heal. But most of this is just going to be mechanics. I don't think, positioning first fight to get a little bit more value out of wall might have been useful. But yeah, I think the angle was okay, but you just need to hit shots there.
Yeah.
Nice wall. My guy's dead. And this is where you can get cheeky with it. There's two ways of looking at this. You can go, I'm going to group up with my team and just push. The other way is that I am tanky, therefore I'm going to take a solo flank and flank them from behind and abuse the fact that they can't just kill me.
Okay.
Up to you. I look at this, I think maybe that's too long of a flank. Maybe just group up with my team.
Yeah.
So it's what you do. Good ice block. But don't leave it so quickly.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
you're too low.
Longer,
you're just a little, just heal up a little bit more. It's okay to cancel it early if you have like a healer right there, but not when you're 20 HP. Because you might just get one shot. I think the spray is fine. Yeah, just sadly you lost somebody so quickly.
Yeah.
Good wall, just a little bit misplaced, but the idea was there. It's fine. Bad punch, but I honestly, it doesn't matter at this point. This fight's lost. The only thing I will say flashpoint here is this fight is lost, no?
Yeah.
Don't stagger yourself. Just die.
Yeah.
You're building ult charge from this, but you're also staggering. So the next fight is going to be 5 or 6 seconds later for your team. So you see how your team is fighting and you're like, wait for me, guys. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Nice.
And then he jumps in.
Good wall.
But they beat it, so.
That's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, this fight's lost. You're trolling. The walls have been actually pretty good, though. I'm zooming through this pretty fast.
Like, as soon as I saw the soldier, I'm like, well, it's over.
Yeah.
I'll just throw it.
Yeah, that wasn't the best. Ha! Nice.
And he has to walk all the way around, and then
yeah, that's
I
fine.
can't really capitalize on it. I was kind of.
That's all right. Another beat? Wait, what? Wait a second. Did he not just beat?
Yeah. Did he get another one in the time that?
Wait. I am unbelievably confused. Wait.
We beat it, and then.
Oh, you guys.
Yes. Yeah. We beat it, and then I think he beat it a little bit later.
Oh yeah. I'm just being an idiot. I'm an idiot. No, he didn't beat that. He didn't beat. That was your team. I'm just blind as a bat. I was about to say this guy is.
Also, we were like, wait a minute, hold on.
Straight up hacking. I'm not gonna lie here. To be honest, you guys are just getting mechanically destroyed here. I'm not gonna lie with you. This is where the diamond thing is coming into play. There's not a lot to say here. It feels like you're down somebody almost instantly every single fight before the fight even starts. Walls haven't been too bad. Obviously, wasting the Blizzard there kind of hurt my feelings. But this is where you're really feeling the mechanical differential.
Yep, I'm like, oh my.
Don't hesitate to wall behind you if you need to here. Just kind of help you rotate.
That's what I was prepping for that. I was waiting for him to jump. And then I would
there you
wall
go.
him.
That's fine. That's fine. But this is what I'm talking about. Like your soldier's dead, and your Kiriko is now dead, and this fight hasn't even started yet. You know, it's just unfortunate.
And I had to pop ice block to save myself.
Yeah, pretty much. Use it. Nice. Careful feeding Doom Punch. Yep. It's not as powerful as it used to be, but it's powerful enough, you know? Yeah, y'all are getting rolled. Okay, I want last fight here, and you go Sombra. All right, this is it. This is the solution.
I was like, I'm actually like, I kind of played Sombra a lot Overwatch 1, and like...
It's funny that you should admit that. I can't believe that you'd admit that. Come on.
Okay. Don't be that mean.
I mean, you're the mean one, man. You're the one playing Sombra.
That's true.
This is a good play, by the way. This is a good play. I don't know if it's
I was terrified in that moment. I was like, please don't come back. Please don't come back.
Yeah, it was a good play. It opens up your team some space here. I mean, they could either fall back and save your team, or you know they'll let you get free point. Yeah.
And then I realized there's nothing.
I'm not gonna lie with you. You guys got absolutely destroyed here. There is nothing to learn here whatsoever, outside of potentially, you know, making sure that like if a fight's lost, not ice blocking to stagger yourself out longer.
Yeah, just
die. It's okay. Okay. So Lifeweaver. Let's set some goals here. Lifeweaver. Sega. Okay. What are you thinking here? What are some skills, habits you need to practice?
Better positioning, I guess.
Positioning in regards to what?
Like pedal usage, probably a little bit more.
Pedal.
More distance, really.
Creating distance sightlines. Think intergalactic emperor. Use pedal, range, cover to create distance safety. So you can control webs, right? It's about preserving your own life, but also just keeping sightlines and choosing who those sightlines need to be in the moment, if that makes sense. Okay. That was the biggest one by far.
Yeah.
But you know, actually, I'm gonna do two things. Positioning part 2. Part 2. Keeping sightlines awareness of crucial targets. Choose. We'll have to choose sometimes. So kind of a different positioning aspect, right? Where it was like, you know, who do I prioritize keeping my web connected to?
Okay.
Not chasing, you know, a flanking tracer around to help her when you're going to put yourself in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
And you're breaking your web of your tank and your Reaper. So you're going to have to choose, you know, what characters you think can help the most. You're going to have to choose who's actually fighting right now. Like I might help my tracer if my Ramatra is like emoting in spawn or not doing anything, right? So, but it's going to depend on the situation. And then the last one was the ults. So what was the ults?
Like I guess use it earlier if I'm trying to save someone or keep them up, and use it more offensively, I guess.
Yeah. Don't hesitate to be more proactive. Very flexible ultimate. Counter. Just use to just win. Yeah. Okay. Those were the big 3 for me. Does all that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions?
Not really, no.
Okay. Well,